right, thank you guys. Can everyone hear me in the back? Yeah. Awesome, good. Well, good afternoon, guys. We're very excited to be here. My name is Lauren, and this is Colleen and Alicia, and we are all trainers at the Cincinnati Zoo. We brought a very special treat for you guys. Raise your hand if you've been to the zoo before. Awesome, a lot of you guys have been. Well, we all know it's pretty cold outside, so we decided to bring the zoo to you. So we brought some very special animals, and these animals have been doing this their entire lives. They love to come out into different schools and meet new people. However, we do have some very important rules to go over before we get started. Number one is you guys need to stay seated in the exact spot you're in right now. Our program's about 45 to 50 minutes long, so it's pretty long. So make sure you're comfortable in your seats. And also use inside voices. I know some of you guys may have your friends sitting beside you and you're gonna see some really awesome things. Just make sure we don't yell out, wow, that's cool. If you see something really cool that you like, make sure you whisper and use your inside voices, because there's a lot of you guys in here, and we'll bring one animal out. And so to a cat, a big group of you guys kind of looks like a big monster or a big blob, and if you guys are moving around or making noises, it's gonna be kind of scary for that animal to come out. So make sure we stay nice and quiet. And also, if you see something you like, we wanna make sure we save our clapping or loud noises till the very, very end, just because we wanna make sure our animals don't get scared coming out here and they have a positive experience. I will ask you guys some questions during our program. I do ask when I call on people to raise your hand, and I'll call on someone. But if you have actual questions about what I'm talking about, I'll be very happy to try to answer it at the very end as long as time allows. So just make sure if you have a question in your head, try to remember it, and I'll try to answer it as best as possible. Now, before we get started, I do want to go over a few scientific things real quick to make sure we're all on the same page. Some of this stuff you probably already know, but just to make sure everyone knows exactly what we're talking about. So there's 4 basic needs that animals have in the wild, and that's food, shelter, water, and space. They've got to every day wake up, they've got to find some food to eat, they've got to make sure they have a nice home to go sleep in at night or during the day, depending on what they do. They need to have clean water, and they need to have a lot of space. Some animals require more territory than others, and they'll have to defend that in special ways. Cool thing about it is these animals all need this in the wild, and we actually have the same needs as well. So we know we have life pretty easy sometimes. Like we know usually if we wake up in the morning, there'll probably be food in the kitchen for us to eat, or something in our pantry. We know we have a home to come to when we come back from school. So it'd be kind of hard if we had to find a new house every day or build a new bed every day. It'd be kind of a lot harder in our lives. We also know if we want some water, we can go to the water fountain or turn on the sink to get a glass of water. And we know there's plenty of space. We can go out and have recess. There's probably a playground out here. Or just space for you guys to hang out after school. So we've got all those things pretty much covered for us. With animals and even with us, we have special things called adaptations. Now raise your hand if you know what an adaptation is. All right, what do you think an adaptation is right here? Do you know what it is? Yep, and what helps him in that new place? Does he have something on his body maybe that might help him? Yeah, so animals have special things on them, special traits, that help them to survive in the wild. You can see on the screen right here, we have several different animals up here. You've got a giraffe who's got his long neck to help him reach those tall leaves off of the tall tree. You've also got that monkey with that tail, and you can see he's using that almost like a 5th limb. That's called a prehensile tail, to help him get a drink of water. You've also got your hummingbird with a really long beak. He has that to help him get to the back of that flower so he can get a lot of nectar. And one of the best adaptations that a lot of animals have is actually camouflage. If you guys take a look at these pictures, there's actually an animal in each photo. You can see that there's an owl right there who can easily hide in his surroundings, so he actually blends into the bark of that tree. And you've also got that frog right there who can blend into his surroundings as well. So by being able to camouflage in your surroundings, it helps you to hide from other predators who may be looking for something to eat. Now we actually use camouflage as well. We use it in our armed forces, as well as people who go hunting will wear camouflage jackets and stuff like that. So even though we have the ability to use camouflage, does that mean if you wear camouflage from head to toe tomorrow to school, are your teachers gonna be able to see you? Yeah, it'd be kind of nice if we could sneak around, but it doesn't quite work out like that. And lastly, before we bring out the animal, a couple words you need to know is endangered and extinct. A lot of times we don't want to think about these kind of things, like an animal being endangered means there's not many left. However, by being aware of this and thinking of ways to help protect these animals, we can help keep them on this earth so that they don't become extinct or all gone. All right, without further ado, we'll go ahead and bring out our first animal. It is an ocelot. If you guys take a look at the map, you can see that these guys are found in South America, Central America, and even North America. And we'll get started with that in just a second. And one of the really cool things about these animals is they are nocturnal. So when CL comes out in just a second, you'll be able to see some of the cool features that make her a successful nocturnal hunter. But nocturnal, we all know, means that they're able to come out at night. And you'll see her very large eyes. She has large eyes to help her to get the little bit of light that's out at nighttime, like the moonlight, into her eyes so she can see better. In fact, ocelots can actually see 6 times better than we can at night. So that's pretty impressive. And you'll also notice that she has a very dark coat on her. Now, by having a dark coat, that's going to help her to stay camouflaged at night. All right, guys, and make sure you stay nice and quiet, okay, guys? Awesome, good job. All right, so she's got that dark coat to help her blend into her surroundings. And one of the cool adaptations they have is their unique climbing ability. They are able to climb straight up a tree, head first down a tree, across, hang from something. They can, pretty much anything they can put their claws into, they can climb up it. So they're very, very excellent climbers. And the way that they're able to do that is if you actually notice when she's walking, she's a little bit bow-legged, and that's how ocelots are. And the reason why their legs are like that is so that they're able to hug onto a tree. So they can grip onto that tree really well so they don't fall off. She's also got some very razor-sharp claws that almost work like Velcro. So anything they can stick their claws into, they can stick on just like Velcro can. So it's a cool adaptation they have to help them climb. And another thing they have is they're able to rotate their back ankles. Now that sounds a little weird, but there's only 3 cats in the entire world that are able to do that. So by rotating her back ankles, she can turn her body and then go head first straight down a tree. This way, her eyes are always either up in the sky or down on the ground. She can always be looking around for other predators or prey that she might be looking to eat. Now, speaking of prey, she is an opportunistic eater. So that means she eats pretty much anything she can find. So think about it this way. Say you guys only ate French fries and that's all you ever ate. Well, if your parents took you to a restaurant with salad, you wouldn't be able to eat anything, right? So by being an opportunistic eater, being able to eat just about anything, you know that you'll always have a fresh supply of food. So she'll eat small mice, insects, monkeys, fish, lizards, pretty much anything that she can find. She's not picky at all. Now, unfortunately, ocelots do face a lot of threats in the wild, and the #1 threat is habitat loss. So they're losing the area where they live, and so it's becoming a big danger for them and their wild populations, especially in North America. We do actually have ocelots in North America. They're found in the southern part of Texas in the thorny brush habitat. So CL here, the ocelot, is one of the many cats we have all over the world. We have about 37 species of cats from around the world. and the ocelot is just one of the amazing cats that we have. Let's see if she'll come back up. All right, guys, so she's being kind of shy today, so it's very important to make sure you stay completely still. You guys are doing a really good job. We just want to make sure that she has an enjoyable experience out here as well. And so that just shows off, we don't make our animals do anything that they don't want to. So if she comes out here and just wants to take a look at you guys, that's all she's going to have to do today. If she wants to go and climb that pole, she's welcome to do that as well. We don't force our animals to do anything that they would not want to do. All right. So it looks like CL is going to head on back, and we're going to bring out our next animal in just a minute. So we have all these cats from all over the world. We have 37 different species of cats. We got lions, tigers, ocelots, all sorts of different stuff. And the next cat we're going to bring out is actually a very dangerous predator. So you guys better be really prepared Colleen's got to get prepared as well. So this animal is found on every continent except for Antarctica. It's found basically anywhere you're going to find people. And this cat is a domestic house cat. I know I said she's dangerous, and I'll tell you a little bit later about why she is so dangerous. But this is Erin the house cat. She's 12 years old. Now, I said that they're found pretty much anywhere people are found. And the reason for that, hey guys, you were doing a good job. Make sure you stay nice and quiet. And the reason for that is because cats a long, long time ago were actually used at sea. When European sailors would sail across the oceans, they would bring cats with them. And the reason for that is because cats are good at hunting mice and rats. So by having the cats on the ship, that help protect the food supply and other damages to like ropes and other things that mice and rodents like to chew on. So, I know you guys saw CL earlier, and a few of you guys might have thought she looks like a really cool cat to take home. And you'll see another larger cat we brought later that you think might be a cool cat as well. However, the house cat is the only cat you want to bring home because they're a lot calmer. They have smaller teeth and jaws, and they've been domesticated for thousands of years to be our cuddly house cats that we know as well. So if you're thinking in your head you wanted to take that ocelot home, one thing to know is I did mention those sharp claws, and she's pretty much going to climb up anything and everything that you have in your house. So you're not going to have anything nice for very long. As well as if you brought a cheetah to your house, they cost about $10,000 a year. So by having a house cat at home, it's just a much better choice if you're thinking of having a pet. So I mentioned earlier, she can be a dangerous creature. And they can be if they're let outside. So what we encourage people to do is keep your house cat indoors, because even though she's a cuddly companion for us both, what happens when you take them outside is that if they see those mice or snakes or other animals like that, their predatory instincts take over. If any of you guys have a house cat and he's been outside, he may try to bring you a present every once in a while with a bird or anything like that. And so that's not very good for the native wildlife we have. Because we have native wildlife such as owls and raptors who love to hunt snakes and mice and other things like that, love to hunt these things. So that's why we encourage you to keep your cats indoors, because we don't want to decrease the food supply for owls or anything like that. All right, so how many of you guys have a cat at home? Well, if you have a cat at home, you want to make sure that you're a responsible owner. So we encourage you to make sure you have clean water for your animal. You want to feed him every day and give him a nice soft bed. How many of you guys have a dog at home? How many of you guys have trained your dog at home to do stuff? All right, now put your hands down. Raise your hand again if you have that cat at home. Now keep your hand up if you've trained your cat. Has anyone trained their cat at home? Well, Colleen here is doing a good job of showing us how you can actually train your cat. But some people don't realize that you can. So what she's been doing is using a clicker. If you guys have heard that clicking noise she makes, she'll ask Erin to do a behavior such as circle, and that click noise means she did a good job. It's the bridge that she uses to tell that animal she's done a really good job, and then she gives her a reward, like a tasty treat. There you go. She asked her to do the wave behavior. If any of you guys are wondering how we taught that behavior, is what we actually used to do when she was younger is we had a feather and we would wave it in front of her paw. She'd paw at it, and whenever she'd do that, we would click with the clicker, and that meant that was the behavior we wanted, and we gave her a treat. So eventually she learned that if she waved her paw, we would click and we would give her a reward. So eventually she learned how to do that wave behavior. So it's really not very hard to train your cat or your dog at home. You just have to be patient and use the right rewards for your animal. Now, even if you train your dogs or your cats, we actually train our animals at the zoo as well. Animal training is used in operant conditioning, which means positive reinforcement. And we use the training for different things, such as medical checkups, such as our gorilla can do a blood draw. And that way it's a lot safer for us and a lot more enjoyable for our animals, and so they can get the checkups and make sure they're nice and healthy. All right, well, Erin's done a very excellent job, so we'll let her head on out just a second. All right, so the next animal we're bringing out is the cheetah, and this is the part where I have to stress to you guys. I know this is the really, really cool part. You guys have to stay seated, stay quiet, not move around, and anything like that. Can you guys do that for me? Awesome. Well, earlier, before we got started, Colleen was passing out some cards. Raise your hand if you have one of those cards. Just making sure everyone with a card is paying attention. Okay, so during this part of the program is where I'm going to need your help. So when you see your card on the slide, I want you to raise it up because you're going to be answering a question for me, and then we'll take a poll with the rest of your classmates to see what the right answer is. You guys do that for me, the ones with the cards? All right, it's pretty easy. So if you guys take a look at this map on here, you'll see that cheetahs are from Africa. However, they're not from a very big area of Africa. So cheetahs are actually pretty endangered. There's only about 12,000 to 15,000 left in the wild. And we're going to learn about some of the really awesome adaptations that they have. So Alicia and Colleen went out to get our cheetah, and we'll go ahead and get started. So who has this card right here? Raise it up. If you've got this card, awesome. So what are cheetahs known for? They're known for running or swimming. Now, she says running. Raise your hand if you think they're known for running. All right, everyone pretty much has their hands up. Put them down. Does anyone think they're known for swimming? Maybe, a couple answers. Well, they're actually known for running. Cheetahs are very fast runners. They can run up to 70 miles an hour, which is really fast. They're the fastest land animal on Earth. And we actually have one. Her name is Sarah, and she is the one that you guys are going to meet today. She's 14 years old, and she set the record for the fastest land animal on Earth. She ran 100 meters in just 5.95 seconds, which is very fast. And if you want to put it in terms of Usain Bolt, the fastest human in the world, ran that 100-meter dash in 10 seconds. So she's almost twice as fast as a human being, which is very, very impressive. Now, who has this card? So what is the elephant, what is the cheetah good at eating? Or what does he want to eat? Raise it up. What do you think? A gazelle. That's exactly right. So, all right, guys. Remember, we got to use our inside voices and sit down, please. Guys, this is the most important part of the section where you guys need to stay seated and stay quiet. Because if you guys can't do that, we will have to put Sarah up. You guys sit down. All right, no moving around, please. All right, so cheetahs love to eat gazelles because obviously an elephant is way too big for her to try to eat. So they're going to hunt stuff that is very fast, which is why a cheetah has to be as fast as they are. And if you take a look at the screen, you'll see a bunch of different animals that a cheetah likes to eat. They'll hunt impala, warthog, spring hare, and other types of gazelle as well. So they're going to hunt stuff that's about the size of a goat or smaller. Now, when a cheetah gets up in the morning, what they're going to do is they're going to look for something to eat. So generally, they'll go get on a mound or something a little bit taller so they can take a good survey of the savanna. And they can see up to 3 miles, which is very impressive. We know we don't have eyesight quite that good. However, if we use binoculars or a telescope, it helps us out quite a bit so we can see almost as good as a cheetah can. So I've got that very good eyesight. Now, who has this card? Raise up the card. Oh, you have it? So are they nighttime hunters or daytime hunters? He says daytime hunters. All right, raise your hand if you think is a daytime hunter. All right, put your hands down. Now raise your hand if you think it's a nighttime hunter. A few of you guys. Well, he said daytime hunter, and you were correct. Good job. So cheetahs are found in the daytime. So they're a diurnal hunter, which means they're active during the day and they sleep at night, just like we do. So we're diurnal animals as well. Now they have something on their face. It's called a malar stripe. If you guys notice those stripes that goes from our eyes all the way down to our mouth. Now, who has this card? You do. So do you think they use that for fashion, or do you think they use those stripes for protection? She said protection, and she's exactly right. So they use the stripes for protection to protect their eyes from the glare of the sun since they're out during the daytime. I love that picture. So these stripes help reduce the glare from the sun, and humans have copied that idea as well. So our football players and a lot of our other athletes will put that black underneath their eyes, and they're doing it for the exact same reason, so they can see a lot better. Now, cheetahs are very excellent at camouflage. You know, I mentioned earlier they're runners, but they're not meant to be distance runners. So they have to have great camouflage so they can sneak up on their prey and get as close as possible before they take off after them in a quick sprint. Now, who has my spots card? You do. So do you think they have 50 spots or 2,000 spots? 2,000, that's right. All right, guys, keep your voices down. So, Alicia, you want to count for us and see if she's right? We could be here all day. Hope you guys didn't have any plans this afternoon. But they have about 2,000 spots on their back and all over their body. And the really cool thing about their spots is every set of spots on each cheetah is different. So if you guys take a look at your fingers, you'll notice there's lines on the ends of your fingers. Those are your fingerprints. And if you looked at your neighbor's fingerprints, they would be different. If you looked at your friends back home, they would be different as well. So no human has the same fingerprints, and no cheetah has the exact same set of spots. This is a pretty unique thing about them. All right, so some of these adaptations they have that make them really good runners is their claws. And if you guys are really quiet, you can actually hear them. You guys hear that noise? So cheetahs have non-retractable claws. If you guys have a dog at home, they have non-retractable claws as well. Your house cat has claws that she can pull back into her paw. But these guys' non-retractable claws actually work like a set of cleats. So that's what they have when they're running. It helps dig into the ground, just like if you're wearing cleats during a sports activity. So it helps them get a good grip and helps them run a lot faster. So cheetahs only really need one pair of shoes though. We probably have several different pairs of shoes at home, snowshoes, sandals when it's warm, tennis shoes, and any other kind of shoes like that. But cheetahs really only need one because they're built for one real job, and that's to run really, really fast. Now their feet do have many different functions to them. Besides just having those non-retractable claws, they also have a dew claw that's a little bit higher up on their wrist, and that's what they're going to use to trip their prey. So when they're running really fast up to it and they catch up to that gazelle, they're going to actually have to trip it so that they can catch it. So they'll use that dew claw to kind of trip them. And then if you can run really fast, you've got to be able to stop really fast as well. So they've actually got built-in brake pads. It's a triangular spot, or triangle little pad on the back of their leg to help them stop really fast as well. All right, now cheetahs have a really long tail. Hey guys, make sure you stay nice and still, okay? All right, so cheetahs have a long tail, and it helps them with one real reason. Now who's got this card? You do. So do you think cheetahs are good at climbing, or do they use their tail like a steering wheel? Hold up the answer. What do you think? A steering wheel, that's exactly right. That was kind of a trick question, but they use their tail just like a steering wheel to help them keep their balance when they're running, because typically what they're chasing is not going to run in a straight line. They'll run in zigzags, so they've got to be able to turn just as quickly as their prey does. So they'll use that tail just like a steering wheel to help them to catch their prey even faster. Now, even though they have all these adaptations, they've got to be physically fit to be able to catch this prey. And so she has an enlarged heart and an enlarged lung to help her to run just as fast as she does. Now, if we want to be really good at a sport, we've got to practice a lot, but cheetahs really don't have to practice that much to be fast runners like they are, because they're already built that way. Another cool thing they have about them is they have a very flexible spine. In fact, their spine works just about like a slinky to help them take those long strides. And we're going to show you just how far a cheetah can actually go in just 2 steps. So they can go about 27 feet, which is very, very far. Now let's see how far Colleen can go. I know she's been practicing. Let's see how far you can go. That's only about 2.5 or 3 feet. You better keep practicing, maybe next year. All right, so cheetahs are very amazing, and they have all these awesome adaptations to help them be as cool of animals as they are. However, as I mentioned at the very beginning, they are an endangered species, and even having these adaptations, they do actually need our help. Because there's not many left. There's only about 12,000 to 15,000 left in the wild. And so we want to make sure that they're not all gone. And we're going to actually mention that in just a second of things that we've done to help cheetahs out in the wild. But first, we're going to talk about the adaptations that we've covered. So our ocelot is very good at climbing. What does she have to help her climb so well? What does she have to help her? razor-sharp claws that work just like Velcro. She also had those bow-shaped legs to help her to hug those trees. Now our house cat is pretty much as good at living with humans. That's her great adaptation. Our cheetah was good at running fast. What's one of the things the cheetah had that helped him to run fast? What'd you say? Yeah, the flexible spine was an excellent thing that the cheetah had. It also had those non-retractable claws that worked like cleats and an enlarged heart and lungs. Now, what do we have that makes us really great at what we do? We have opposable thumbs. What else do we have to make a great adaptation? What do you think? What do we use at school? Like when we're answering math problems and stuff, what do we use? What did you say? You say brain? Yeah, that's right. So we've got our big brain to help us to solve problems. And fortunately for us, we're able to do that and help animals out as well. So cheetahs in the wild faced a really big problem. The problem is that cheetahs share their land with farmers, and cheetahs like to go after stuff that's about the size of a goat. So if a cheetah wakes up in the morning and he has a choice, do I want to chase after this gazelle? It's going to be a lot of work. Or do I just want to go over there and get a sheep or a goat? He may try to go after the sheep or the goat. Well, farmers aren't very happy about that because they've worked really hard to raise these animals, and so they need these animals to help provide money for their families and food. So what they did, well, they don't get very happy about it. So what they've done is they've actually turned to other conservation departments who have come up with an idea to help them out, and that was to give the farmers an Anatolian Shepherd dog. Now, an Anatolian Shepherd, you guys are going to meet one in just a minute, is a very aggressive guard dog. So what they do is they're not aggressive towards the cat or anything, but they're very protective over the goats and sheep. So what these conservation funds do is they'll give the farmer a puppy. And when these puppies are raised with goats and sheep, they look at them just like they're their friends, and they need to protect them. So when a big cat like a cheetah comes along, the dog does not like it. So what the dog's gonna do is actually let out a loud bark, and they're gonna scare the cheetah away. So if the dog does his job and scares the cheetah away, the farmers are pretty happy, and that keeps the farmers from wanting to hunt cheetahs or scare them away in other means that might harm the cheetahs as well. So all in all, it helps out the cheetahs and it helps out the farmers and makes everything a lot better to help protect these cheetahs. So that's just a great example of what we can do to help animals in our environment because we want to keep them around. So now I want to ask you guys, what are some things that we can do to help animals in our native environment? What's something you can do? Use less water. That's such an easy thing to do. So if you guys are brushing your teeth, if you turn off the water while you're brushing your teeth, it uses a lot less water. Now this here is Powwow. This is the Anatolian Shepherd that I mentioned a little bit earlier. And Powwow here is 6 years old. So what we're going to do at the very end is we'll let you guys actually meet Powwow once we're done finishing up our program. All right, so we mentioned using less water is a great way to help the environment. What's another idea we can do? What can we do? Stop throwing trash in the oceans. That's a really easy one as well. So if you've got trash, put it in the recycling bin or put it in the trash can, and we can also recycle as well. So there's plastics and paper that we can also recycle as well. What's one more thing we can do to help out the environment? Reduce, reuse, recycle. That's so easy, and it's such a great way that we can help out the environment. And also, if you guys are interested in some of the animals that you've learned about today, you can always go look up more books and learn a lot more about the animals, or if there's one in particular of how you can help them out. All right, guys. So you guys have done a very great job. Let's give you guys a round of applause for sitting still. All right, great job. Now is the time. If you guys have any questions for me, raise your hand. I'll try to call on a few of you guys about any of the animals that you guys saw. Do you have a question? Can the cheetah hear very well? She can hear exceptionally well. She's got very great eyesight and good hearing. What's your question way back here? Huh?
I just have a comment.
What's your comment?
The ocelot is my favorite big cat.
Oh yeah, the ocelot is a really cool cat. They're pretty awesome. What's your question way back here? Yeah. Oh, how old is Cheetah? Sarah is 14 years old, and cheetahs typically live to be about 12 to 15 years old. So she's kind of an older cheetah. What's your question?
Do the little ones only like use hand signals?
Do the animals? So our animals are trained, most of them are trained to know a verbal cue, like if you were to say circle, and they also know a hand signal as well. So that's a great observation. What's your question? She is a girl, and her name is Powwow. Powwow. Yep. What's your question?
Can you adopt a cheetah or a
Can you what?
adopt a cheetah?
Can you adopt a cheetah? You can adopt animals through the zoo, and it helps helps the animals at the zoo, but you can't like adopt one and bring it home. However, if you are looking for a pet, a great way to do it is to adopt a cat or a dog from the shelter. But you can't adopt a cheetah and bring it home. It's not the best pet for you to have. What's your question?
What countries do cheetahs mostly come from?
What countries do cheetahs mostly come from? Do you know all the countries they're from? Oh, they're from the continent of Africa, and they're kind of found like in the southern central part of Africa. What's your question?
What side of cheetah's spine is different from ours that makes theirs flexible?
What part of their spine makes them more flexible than ours? Do they have more vertebrae?
I think cats do have more vertebrae, but that's probably because their tails.
Yeah.
Sure.
That's a really good question. You actually stumped the trainers on that one. They do have more vertebrae than we do on our backs, but it's because their tails are included in that. But we're not really sure why they're more flexible. That's a great question. What's your question? Why are their backbones so big? They're just larger to help because they are a bigger animal. So, all right, I'm going to take 2 more questions. What's your question?
How old is the little one?
How old is the house cat or the ocelot? House cat was 12 years old, and the ocelot is 11 years old. What? Oh, the ocelot is 14, my bad. All right, one last question.
How come the cheetah just can't kill the dog?
Well, the cheetahs are pretty much like big scaredy cats. So if there's a big dog, and they let out a very loud bark, and these dogs can actually get a lot bigger than this. If they see a big dog barking and they can see his teeth and stuff like that, they usually try to run away from something. So they're not as aggressive as a lion or a tiger who might try to actually go after the dog. Cheetahs are typically gonna, when it comes to fight or flight, they're pretty much gonna choose flight every time and run away from a situation just to protect themselves. All right, you guys, y'all have done a very excellent job. And so what we're actually gonna do is I'm gonna need the help of our teachers. When you guys dismiss, we can let them pet powwow on the way out. Is there a certain door y'all are gonna go out of? All right, so we're gonna have, hold on guys, hold on. So we're gonna have our teachers help us out, and they'll call on you guys to get up, so not everyone get up at once. Colleen will tell you how to pet powwow, but I'll go ahead and go over it one time first to help her out. When you pet powwow, let's not all crowd her at once, and make sure you only pet her on her back. Don't pet her face, don't pet her paws, just pet her on her back, okay? All right, thank you guys so much.